Okay, it is 6 p.m. and I'm going to go ahead and call the special meeting to order. Councilmember Navarrete. Here. Councilmember Aguilar. Here. Councilmember Byrd. Here. Councilmember Armitage. Here. Councilmember Lopez. Here. Vice Mayor Alonso. Here. And I am present. We do have a full quorum. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Councilmember Armitage.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, as we come together tonight as a council and the job that we have to do tonight, Lord, in determining and listening to our potential chiefs, we ask, Lord, that you give us wisdom and discernment, give us understanding. Lord, I believe in your heart, you know who will be the next chief in the town of Superior. So we ask, Lord, that you would move on us, give us wisdom and discernment, help us, Lord, to conduct the town business, Lord, in a way that's pleasing to you. We give you thanksgiving and praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Well, we do appreciate members of the public coming and our staff for putting this particular meeting together. The format tonight, and for those that may be watching on YouTube, is both candidates will be given 15 minutes to address the public, and the public may ask questions of those chiefs, of the chief candidates, and then after that, council will go into executive session, further our questions, and then come back out and make our decision likely tonight, unless there's some other kind of delay or something. So just to set everybody's expectations, and if anybody else comes in, I may stop so those that come in will understand. I'm going to start with alphabetical order, so I believe that Diaz, your last name is the first in the alphabet. So I'm just going to go alphabetical order, keep it there, and the vice mayor will be our timer, so you have 15 minutes.
Okay, great, thank you so much. First, I'd like to thank the council and the mayor for putting this together, and the members of the public that are here, colleagues, other members of the town that are here. It is truly an honor to be considered for this position, and I want to thank you all for that. I want to tell you a little bit about myself and my experiences, and why my experiences and my accomplishments make me the better candidate for this position. I'm Lieutenant Dan Diaz. I grew up in New York City, which is the biggest melting pot on the planet. In my high school, there were 39 different countries that were represented by students that I went to school with. When I look back at my experience in New York City growing up as a child and adulthood, one of the things that I'm very fond of is that exposure. It gave me
Is that around the hard time? Can you speak right in the mic and then she can turn it up a little bit towards the mic?
Is that better? Too loud. Okay, is that better? Yeah. I'll keep it distance. Okay. But growing up in New York City gave me a great exposure to many different cultures and religions. But beyond that, it helped me develop an appreciation, a respect, an admiration for people of different backgrounds, of different religions, and different cultures. And that's something that has helped me tremendously throughout all of my professional career. When I graduated high school, I went to St. John's University, and I received a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And that was really, the 4 years at St. John's gave me a great foundation of critical thinking, writing, reading skills, but it also gave me a great foundation for the science of policing. When I graduated college, I worked for Citigroup on Wall Street, a finance job. And that was really fast-paced. I was an institutional stock trader. But the things that I learned there were a great background in finance. It also helped me develop team building, working as that was the first time I was involved in working as a member of a large team. In the fast-paced environment, really helped me establish a good way of keeping up with the demand of being a professional. In 2002, I transferred to a division out here, Tempe, with Citigroup, and I was a manager there for 12 financial advisors. And that was the first time I really had a leadership role. And in that role, it helped me develop project development, employee retention, employee hiring, setting organizational goals. So that was a great experience. In 2006, I started a construction company that I still own. So I've been self-employed for 18 years. And being self-employed, owning a small business, I deal with everything. So project development, finances, budgeting, hiring employees, project development, cost analysis, and it's just really given me a great experience that I've been able to apply to my law enforcement career. I started my career with Casa Grande as a police officer, and that was a great agency to work for at the time. It helped me develop a good understanding of police work and also the importance of having great leaders in the police department. I joined Superior PD in 2018, and at the time that I joined, the chief at the time had described this as a second chance agency, which never sat well with me. And honestly, in the last 6 years, I've been working towards changing that description of the Superior Police Department. I started in 2018 in patrol. In 2019, I was awarded an accommodation for my services as a patrol officer here. I spearheaded the development of the CIB, the Criminal Investigation Bureau, which we still have here. I was one of the first detectives assigned to that unit. In 2021, I received a Detective of the Year award from my services at CIB. So those are things that I'm really proud of. I was promoted to sergeant and most recently been promoted to lieutenant. As lieutenant, I received the Supervisor of the Year award in 2024. And I feel that finding leaders that are motivational, that are experienced, is tough in any industry. Fortunate, I've been able to work for two of the best chiefs, Chief Alanis and Chief Chavez. They're both mentors to me. So as police chief of Superior, my goal is not to change everything. It's to continue the community development that they started and further enhance some of the experiences for the community members by bettering education, training, and a better selection of better qualified police officers. I'll answer any questions if you have questions.
At this time, if there's questions from the public, please raise your hand. Mr. Miramon.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So you've been here since 2018, right?
Yes, sir.
And you believe in second chance on a person that comes out of jail or maybe doing jail time. They
Yes.
come out of maybe college, so to speak.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, have you implemented any programs to help out these individuals here in Speedo as far as providing maybe some kind of guidance, direction, or any resources for them to maybe come out of their rut and maybe trying to go in a different direction?
Mm-hmm.
Have you implemented a program? If you have, can you mention what program you have come out with?
Sure. Thank you for the question. Some of the things that we have been able to implement, we have limited resources here. We're far on the edge of the county here, so we don't have the housing resources, the unemployment resources like other sections of Pinal County. One of the things that we have been able to help with individuals that are coming out of jail, we've been able to partner with other organizations that do offer benefits that can help them. So sometimes people call 911, but they don't need a police officer. They just don't know who else to call. So by partnering with Horizon Mental Health Services, that's one of the agencies that really has helped change and assist local residents with some of the other issues that they're facing coming out of jail or coming out of prison. I do believe in second chances. Horizon most recently actually helped a resident by providing hotel services because their air conditioning wasn't working. So Horizon is one of the agencies that we assist. So we don't have specific programs in the PD that help people like that, but my goal is to partner with other organizations that can help.
Have you been able to confront the copper quarter, the mining companies that we have here, to see how they could financially help you out in such program? And have you navigated and see if you could develop it anything further to help out these individuals, so when they do come out and they're not just hanging out in the street and, you know, there's no opportunity because, I believe if they were given that second chance and there's resources available for them, if you provide that as a new chief or whatever you have, at least that will excel in community policing with these individuals.
So I'm passionate about helping all of Superior, and it sounds like you have a passion for that specifically. I would love to meet with you once I become chief, and we can carve out something that will benefit the community together. I love an open door policy. Residents, police officers, students can come in, and that's actually how we've been able to implement a lot of the most recent police programs, is by officers coming in with ideas. It's not just command staff coming up with these things, it's officers realizing that there's a need and implementing changes. So I would love to work with you on that.
Okay, I got several other questions, sir.
Okay.
Why do you want the job as police chief?
Okay, so for the last 6 years, I have seen this department change from the second chance agency to almost a premier agency. And that's what my passion is. I really want to see Superior Police Department become a premier agency. And by that, one of my goals, one of my long-term goals, is to apply for accreditation. And that is the Arizona Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. And what that does is it standardizes law enforcement here in Arizona. So that means we have better trained officers, and better trained officers means a better overall community experience.
Okay. If you don't mind, I have other questions. Is that all right? What are you looking to gain in this position?
So when I first started here in Superior, and this is what I tell people that apply here, Superior has a specific charm. It's a small town, 60 miles from Phoenix, but there's a charm about this place that is going to make you love it. I have dedicated 6 years to helping and advancing Superior Police Department, and in this chief position, I feel that I can continue some of the excellent work that Chief Alanis and Chief Chavez has started, but also continue that by developing deeper community relations.
Would you continue to support the resource officers with the Superior Junior High?
That was one of the programs that I was adamant that we start here. I felt that an SRO program builds such a strong community relationship with the youth of Superior, and that's extremely, extremely important. I would support that.
Last question. Would you live here in Superior?
I would, if there's some sort of assistance in moving, I live in the valley, I would consider moving, but there's a house I need to get rid of.
So that's a big maybe then.
Yeah. I love this town, and you know my commitment now as a reserve is to work 12 hours a week. I've been working 36 hours a week for the last 8 months because I'm committed to this position and growing and moving the department forward.
May I make a comment towards that? And the reason why I asked that question is that over the past maybe 20 years, it seems like we haven't had a commitment from a police chief living in this residence to show more enthusiasm, more interest, more collaborating with the community and being here 24/7. Not necessarily do the job, but just knowing that the police chief has a lot of interest in this community.
Yeah. Nationally, that has always been a stance that some agencies have taken. Officers need to live in the community that they work in. Over the last few years, we've seen a change. So that requirement is disappearing nationally. And I think if you have a commitment to serve the community, you don't necessarily have to live in Superior to want the best for Superior.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Shanky.
One short question. I'm very happy with our police department, and I think everyone's done a great job. We're a small town, we have a tight budget, and I'm not saying I want this to happen, but what would happen if the town council came to you and said, we have to cut your budget 20%? How would you handle it?
Well, there are things that, well, no chief wants to hear that. No head of any department wants to hear that, and I hope it doesn't happen. There are things that we can't get away from. We can't get away from payroll, we can't get away from providing services, and it needs to be, in reality, it needs to be a balance. If the community is demanding an officer show up and someone answer the phone when they call 911, a 20% cut in the budget may not always guarantee that. So there's a priority that needs to happen. Some of the things that, we can't cut staffing. We're already 4 positions below, our staffing standard. There's just not much we can get away from.
Thank you.
Any last questions from anybody here in the audience? Council, we're gonna have our time to ask our questions, so unless anybody has anything you'd like to add to this? Okay, hearing none, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll go on to Detective Manuel. And again, same routine, 15 minutes, and any questions?
Good evening, Community Council. Good evening, community. My name is Joaquin Manuel. I am currently the detective reserve for the Missouri Police Department. I've been employed here for about 1.5 years. I feel that I am the best candidate for the chief of police because I bring 26 years of law enforcement experience. My career started back in 1998, March of 1998. I attended the Arizona Law Enforcement Academy in Phoenix, Arizona, and was employed by the Gila River Police Department. I served my whole career at the Gila River Police Department. Part of my career there, I started off as a patrol officer for about 5 years. Worked graveyard, swing shift, day shift. Within those 5 years, I tested for the SWAT team and was selected and served as part of the SWAT team for about 10 years. Had so much fun with that. During my time as an officer, I decided that I needed a challenge, and I applied for a detective position. I got hired as a detective, and initially it was a small agency at the time. Back in 1998, just a little background, the Bureau of Indian Affairs was in charge of the Gila River Indian Community Law Enforcement. In 98, they hired the first 25 officers to transition to a tribal agency, and I was actually the 27th. So it was a great honor to be part of a new department that transitioned from the federal law enforcement to a tribal agency. Going back to where I was after patrol and became a detective, I was assigned to multiple different type of cases. There was only about 7 of us at the time, so we were handling from homicides to violent crimes to sexual crimes, child crimes, burglaries. I mean, anything that you think of, we got the experience. In addition to being a detective and working so many different type of offenses, I was assigned to the Internal Affairs Division. I was the first detective to hold that position. I was able to start that program and hold our officers to the highest, ethical standards. So I had a great time as a detective, but then I decided I needed more of a challenge. I tested for a corporal, and I was selected as a corporal and worked as a corporal for about 5 years. Great time. I learned a lot about leadership. I attended many leadership schools, trainings through the Arizona Post. In addition, I'm also a veteran. I served in the United States Marine Corps prior to my law enforcement career, and as a reservist in the United States Navy. So that was part of even as a full-time police officer. So I had a lot on my plate, but I enjoyed it. I had the energy to do it, so why not? So as a corporal, during that time, I implemented and helped put a task force called CRT. It's called Crime Responsive Team. So what that was is it focuses on community matters. We're talking about if it's burglaries in one area of the town, we would focus on that and we saturate it and we enforce it. Or if there's gang activity in a certain district, then we attack that. So I was able to lead that charge and get great results from it. After being a corporal for about 5 years, I decided, well, let's keep moving up. I decided to test for sergeant and was given the position. And again, I went back to my roots and started working as a day shift, sergeant, swing shift. And then finally, towards the tail end of my career, they wanted to start the SRO program, the School Resource Officer program, which to me, that was always the goal, because I believe that obviously our children are our future, and we want to be able to teach them, the right, have good services for them and programs that are going to help them get in a position of putting themselves in whatever career that they wanted to do. So with the help and assistance and challenges with community council and leaders of the Gila River community, we were able to start the program. A lot of the program was funded through grants, but it was something that we just kept on pushing and we were able to receive. And after months, we were able to put the program together, get officers assigned to the 6 schools that were in that community. We were able to assign 3 officers to all the schools. We also implemented DARE, the DARE program, if you're familiar with that, with the GREAT program. The DARE is focused more on drug abuse, and GREAT is focused more on gang activity, gang education programs. I implemented that program. A lot of funding, which I know that we talk about budget here, but there are programs out there and there are funding out there that we can get that will fund our SRO program and different programs that we can implement in this community. And that was something that I learned and was able to work with our council and work with our governor and lieutenant governor. So in 2018, I finally called it quits after 20 years, and it was a hard decision, but I wanted to focus on my family, my 3 sons and my grandboys that were coming. So I wanted to spend some time as a family man and spend some time with them. After 1 year, I actually ended up transitioning to the reserve program with Gila River, just so I just wouldn't let go, completely. So I decided that I needed a little more spice in my life, so I became a realtor. I got my real estate license and did real estate for 1 year. Did pretty well, but there was always something inside of me that said, law enforcement, I gotta go back. So I had the opportunity, my mentor here, Chief Chavez, I worked with him for over 20 years at Gila River. He calls me up and tells me, hey, there's going to be a lieutenant position opening up under the Criminal Investigations Division. Is that something that maybe you're interested in applying? There's others that are going to apply, but I just wanted to put it out. And it didn't take me long. I talked to my wife and my kids about it, and I decided to go ahead and apply for the position. I got the position, and I was applied. I was in charge, and I oversaw the Criminal Investigations Division, which was great because I always loved being a detective. It was always a passion of mine, and now going back and being part of it, but this time being the boss and being to implement things that I've always had in my mind, years ago, it was a great opportunity, so I didn't pass it up. I went ahead and implemented great programs with support of Chief Chavez, when he was the chief at Gila River. We again started different task forces that attacked drug dealers, that attacked gang members, that attacked violent crimes, and we were able to make a big difference in the community. And we were able to lower crime, and we were able to make it safer for the streets out there in our community. People were scared to walk at one point, and at one time, they saw how good we were doing, how great the program was happening, that they were able to walk down the streets and enjoy themselves. So that was a big accomplishment for me, going back and being a lieutenant. Went back for 3 years, and then again I decided that I think I'm done. Chief Chavez ended up leaving Gila River and coming to this great town of Superior, and he would always call me and tell me how great it was. And I'm like, do you guys have any reserve positions? And he said, absolutely. And so I applied for the position. Lieutenant Dan here did, he helped me through the process. Good man here. And I was able to get on about 1.5 years ago. I was excited. I mean, it's almost like your career starting all over, but in a different avenue. I was excited to come here because first it's a small town. We heard a lot of great things about it. And as I got to know people here and come to events here, I realized how tight this community is and how friendly and how people just come together. And I was surprised how many events we have here, which is awesome. What also that I think I bring to the table is community engagement. I believe that as a leader in a police department, we need to engage in our community. By that I mean community events, shaking hands, getting to know people in this community. We talk about second chances. I'm all for second chances. I believe that we all deserve a second chance, that we all are not perfect, and that judgment should not be placed on people that have made mistakes. So for me, it was an easy choice to come to Superior and work with Frank Elenise, Chief Elenise at the time, and then eventually Chief Chavez. So I'm honored to be here and to be a candidate. I'm honored to be here in front of you guys and present why I believe I'm the best candidate. I'm also a Spanish speaker. I speak Spanish. I love my language. I love my culture. I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and moved down here when I went to the academy in 1998. So I'm a very family-oriented man, and I'm looking forward to working with every one of you and hoping that we can enhance this police department and make this community safer. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll do questions from the public.
You go first. Okay, you mentioned second chance now. What ideas do you have to see how you could possibly implement in Superior, Arizona? Being here 4 years, you probably know individuals that came out, and you probably see them out on the street, and you know what? I believe a job opportunity or something that would help them change their mindset to a better way of life. Now, what ideas do you have to share that would help out that?
I think there's always going to be opportunities for people that need second chances. I believe making sure that they understand the resources that are available, not only in our community, but in outside communities. Being able to provide some type of, if it's a volunteer opportunity, you know, or a police academy, or a citizens academy. You know, I know there's criteria for those type of things, you know, but it should be offered to the community, you know, and it should be offered to people that are willing to want a second chance, to help the community, you know, to be part of it. I think volunteership is a great thing, you know, and that's how I think a lot of people that want second chances, they should get involved. It gives them an opportunity to see what direction they want to go, you know. I love talking to people with second chance because everybody has a story. And
Yeah. How would you reach out to them?
you know, there's different outreaches, I'm sure, in the community, maybe outreaches outside the community that we can talk to them, events, you know, if just by setting up a booth and having people come to you and talking to you about their situation, you know, word of mouth, you know, again, if you're going out there and you're getting involved and engaging with community members, they're gonna tell you, hey, there's a guy out there that needs some help, you know, that maybe you guys can kind of, you know, maybe give them some type of assistance or resources. That's, I believe, how we can engage into it.
I think that's very essential. If you do have you do set up your booths. I've visited some of your booths, and during when we have these festivities going here in town, if there was some information that you could hand out, like, do you have these resources? Now, I think way back when they had Victory Outreach, where they had a men's group in Colorado, something that's available for them, something that will give them an initiative to look at this. Hey, this is available. All you got to do is make a call. They're very strict. I know some individuals that went to that, and the outcome has been tremendously outstanding, great. They become very successful. Their lifestyle has changed, and it's made a difference. I'm hoping that if one of you are elected, that something is there available. I know in the booths you have a little bit of literature, but I'm sure more can be out there for these individuals here in Superior.
It'd be great to sit down with you and get some great ideas from you and how we can make this happen. You know, I also believe that working with businesses also and having the businesses give people second chances too, and they should come together and you know, and work together as far as that opportunity. You know,
I'm just saying that, you know, the reason why I'm coming out with it, there might be a few bad apples in Superior, but there's a lot of great people in this community. All they need is a second chance, an opportunity, guidance and direction, which route to go.
Absolutely.
And I think it could start with community policing, with PD, if that's available for them. I see that as a very, very important, very essential for our community.
I agree. Thank you.
But we got another question here. Now, our resource officers here at Superior High School. Now, I believe it was Chief Hans that went ahead and got it initiated, got it going, and the town and whoever, all the community partners got it created to what was important, because everything changed with the active shooting taking place in the United States, and it's not going to go away. Now, how would you help out with any updated information or any new required training that's needed to our high school and the public schools? That how can you approach our school superintendent and the school board that this must be done, this has to be done, we should do it. It's not wait on it. It's not wait for something to happen because there was oversight on maybe lack of training.
So that's a great question, because we all know that you know, things have changed from 20 years ago. Actually 30 years ago when I was in high school. And we all know that we have to make sure that our officers are trained properly in the schools. There are a lot of programs out there that provide training for small departments like this. When you talk about the SRO program here, I didn't mention that when I first started here, actually that was my first assignment before I became a detective. I was there probably for about 2 months and then transferred over as a detective. But I got to know the administrators there. And I had a chance to sit down with them and talk to them about ideas, ideas that I was able to implement at Gila River, and ideas that I see now are growing as we look at what's happening to our schools now. And making sure that they understand that, because there's so much information out there that you can provide them and sit them down and say, hey, this isn't what we need to focus on. This is what happened at another school. Let's look at the safety of maybe at that point of making sure that all the doors are locked, that only certain people have access. You know, we talked about those things. We talked about an evacuation, plan. We talked about an active shooter plan, because I don't recall that they even had one at the school. So this is something that I have a passion for, is making sure our children are safe and making sure that we do everything possible to implement good training for officers, training for even the teachers there, the administration there, and so we're all on the same page, because that's what needs to happen. It doesn't matter if we put an officer out there, he knows everything, but then chaos breaks out and they don't know what to do, and we're not all on the same page, things can go really bad. And so I want to implement some sort of transparency with everyone, and we all come together and we know what to do and what our jobs and responsibilities are if we have an active shooter, or if we have bomb threat, or we have someone that just is causing problems or physical injury to other people. So but that's also working with community members, working with parents, working with community council, working with our mayor, working with our businesses and everything. They all need to be involved. We all need to be involved to make our schools safer.
Last question, would you live in Superior or reconsider living
I would consider. I can't give you an exact answer, but I would consider if I talk to my family about it, and go from there.
Thank you.
So if I turn the air conditioner back on, I know it's hard to hear.
Okay, Mr. Shank, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, I'm only gonna ask one.
Okay.
We're fortunate that our last two chiefs have made it possible that we have two qualified candidates that both have experience here in Superior. And I think sometimes you can judge the leadership of an individual by what happens when they leave. So my question is two parts. One, how long do you see yourself in this position? And how long do you think it would take to mentor someone to replace you?
Okay. I don't have a time frame of how long I want to be here. I will be here until the job is done. And so I believe that the time comes where I'm leaving, I'm going to leave this department in better shape than it was when I left. So to me, it's a very difficult question to answer and give you an exact time frame. But I assure you that when the time comes and I make that decision to leave, that this department will be a lot better. And as far as mentorship, I believe that even when I start as the chief of police, that mentorship should start right away. Okay, mentorship should start because if there's someone that has a dream or has a goal to become the chief of police, why not start mentoring them now? Why not? It prepares them now, so when that position or that opportunity comes up, they're ready. And they understand it, they understand the responsibilities, the duties, and they're put in a position of competence.
All right, that concludes our questioning. Does anyone else have any other questions? All right, at this time, you can have a seat.
Thank you.
And then we will adjourn into executive session.
Mayor, please ask for the manager, the clerk, the current acting chief, and the attorney upon demand.
Okay. Yes, we do need a motion to indicate to go into executive session for how long, Todd?
I don't think it should take longer than an hour.
Okay, for an hour, no longer than an hour, and to include the town manager, town clerk, current police chief, and our attorney upon request,
And candidates as requested.
and candidates as requested. There's a motion by Councilmember Byrd. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Lopez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. It is 6:40, so we will conduct these interviews, and staff will come out and get each applicant at their requested time.
Okay, I don't.
Are they any good?
Those right there. I have all this stuff in my purse to leave tomorrow. Better keep it with me.
I think you fit the place.
He just doesn't know it, huh?
For meeting and greeting with
Same thing, meet your teacher, go back to school. And all that sort of stuff. I did all that kind of stuff. Jimmy graduates this year, and this is just the sixth grade. You know what, I skipped it this year. I usually go when there's like, parent teacher conferences and stuff like that, so I always get to meet them, I don't go on, it's just, everybody's there, and you always get, kids want to see the teacher they had last year. So you go to meet, like, yeah, you go to see the teacher that your kid has, and instead, some little kid that was there in 6 years, that's right, oh yeah, I did this in the summer. It's not your turn, go ahead. Right. It's just, it's too crowded. No.
Don't be afraid to go for the snacks.
Very good.
Seems like you're still like,
I was gonna say,
But the thing is, the ones that did show up, they had like a list of questions.
Yeah. So it's just one question. Yeah.
What are you gonna do this? What are you gonna do this?
Yeah.
So-and-so's talking about it, you gonna get on? Yeah. Well, we all came for Christian.
So they did the same thing with Frank? Right?
Yeah. So, yeah, they had, they did the exact same thing, and council asked questions, and then all of us in the front, so we came for Christian.
But there wasn't anyone else, or was there somebody else?
It was specific, it was just Hensley and Alan by then, they had narrowed it down to the two. Christian had been acting chief for a year, and then, they had a couple people who they'd done more ones. Hensley, Alanese, I want to say there was a third or maybe a fourth guy, and they narrowed it down to Alanese and Christian.
What happened to the third guy that was supposed to be?
decided on, but they didn't do it that night. They came back.
Yeah, I only saw it on
They came back,
the
they took
agenda, and
one.
I was like, they're gonna act with the executive session meeting.
I think so. I think they came back. I think it was a couple of days later they came back. And then Ensley was the chief for about 3 months or something. Then they called Frank. I think it was a month. No, you know what? They picked Ensley. They put it on Facebook that it was him. They told everybody it was him. And then the night they were putting his contract, they went to the executive session. They came back out. But yeah, no, it's not true.
Oh, maybe maybe the contract wasn't approved during.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah,
I hope they don't.
the news 15.
Yeah, that's, something happened, I think it was in his routine that week.
Well, that night, they showed it to me. Oh. Yeah, this is what's coming. Oh, it's just going back. This is what's coming. So they got out. This is here.
But that's because they found out. Was that the one that they were in the front of?
They just did, yeah, none of it was, it wasn't happening, right? And it's no problem, Alan is trying to be rich, and Christian is going, that's not the issue, but don't tell them that. This goes well, all I am is like,
I know Rich.
So they, you know, that's just kind of very cool. So, they're always working now.
So what did Kristen do after that?
Then they sent him to training for about 6 weeks, just to get him out of there. And they had shot before they take over as acting chief already. As now he's in some. So he was acting chief for a month for 6 weeks. Well, Rock Thompson was one on time. Good luck. I said you guys would be the logo of the machine, I thought that was, but you're not. Try and fix it. Better guys.
Yeah.
still gas in the cars, like, come on. Definitely have to move.
Yeah, I thought that other guy,
No, it wasn't Nails, because I initially thought it was Nails, but I don't have them. And, Nails actually, he's pretty sharp. But he never moved his axis. I didn't have his axis. Or something. Yes, that's kind of.
Based off of there was some legitimacy. Make a right. Gosh, where did this go?
essentially. I didn't know
I
why.
figured, I figured it would be that way. Usually just go away when you can. That's this thing just moves fast. It's pretty fast.
Yeah. I thought there would be a little more.
Yeah.
Just see us. One at a time.
They have to resume, he said something about you have to resume, and then you're gonna, and then you have to shut it down from the left. Although they, I'm going to. Okay, thank you so much. Then, yeah, I'll be right here on the side.
What's going on? Not back to school yet?
No,
When's your start date? You have a date yet?
the 22nd.
Oh, you got time.
Yes.
Plenty of time.
two in the world for it.
Definitely definitely not thrown to your right.
Yeah, I was like, how the heck, oh,
I know.
it's good to be there.
We're waiting for you, you're supposed to take Todd's place.
Means I need you overtime.
Don't get excited, don't get excited yet. Report back. Yeah,
We didn't give ourselves.
Turn it off.
All right, what are we gonna do from here?
You need to
We
push
had-
the button.
Okay, somebody push the button.
It's good.
Okay, I need a motion to return to open session. There's a motion by Councilmember Byrd, is there a second by Councilmember Lopez, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I do need a motion to return to executive session with our town clerk, our police chief, and the council and legal counsel as
So
if
moved.
needed. Motion by Councilmember Armitage for 30 minutes, and seconded by Councilmember Byrd. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
We didn't give ourselves enough time.
Yeah, you know,
We're gonna, now's the time we're gonna get the knives out.
don't worry. They were all delicious.
Yeah, we should.
You ever do any real estate stuff down like in that Rocky Point area?
No, but you know what, I've always, been interested in doing that because, I was gonna start the process of doing my dual citizenship.
Oh, wow.
And so, I would love to, like, kind of understand the process of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting, because I've had clients that have asked me if I knew anything about that, but I really don't, because you don't have to be a licensed realtor in the state of New Mexico to sell houses.
Oh, wow.
You just have to go through some type of like certification,
Oh, okay.
which is pretty simple, I heard,
Wow.
but,
It's gotta be competitive in that market.
yeah, you know, what I heard is that if you're a local
Yeah.
that sells it, you do well, because, you know everything.
Yeah,
And majority of people that sell houses there live there, you know,
right,
so.
yeah. It's that condo market, I don't know if that's still booming down there.
Oh, man, it's
Yeah.
booming huge.
Just building on top of building now, but some of my customers have spots down there in Rocky Point. I've never been there. but-
I was interested in buying a condo at one time,
Yeah.
but
They send me pictures and it looks so
the
beautiful.
only thing there, I'll tell you the truth, is if you're a non-citizen there,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanna invest in that community, in anything there,
Yeah,
I think if they dropped it from a 99-year lease, they call
right,
it,
right.
to now, they call it 75.
Okay.
But at 50, they have to renew it. And, yeah,
I mean, I won't be around, so.
yeah, no, but there always, the question is
Yeah.
like,
Do you lose the asset? That's what.
as far as the assets going to family
Yeah.
members and going from there on, them having to do that. But and then the majority of the time, you have to pay pretty much cash.
Yeah,
Like,
there's no finance.
there's really no financing. There are, but it's gonna cost you a lot of money. It's gonna cost you like putting down 50%. You know, but if you're, a citizen from there, you can finance.
Can you refinance it? Let's say you buy cash with an American bank, let you refi?
Yeah, there's certain banks. There's certain banks.
The rates make sense.
Yeah.
But it's nice to carry a mortgage.
Yeah, 'cause there's banks, I know there's one, I forgot the name of what it's called, but they actually fund like 30 years, but again, you have to put down a crazy amount. Down.
50%.
Yeah, it's like 50% down.
Most people buy them as just store their trash.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and if you do, you get good deals. Especially like, if you don't want a condo on like Sandy Beach right there, if you go down into town, I'm not saying right in town, but very, very close to the beach, like say
Yeah.
5 minutes,
Yeah.
you can get a good deal. Like literally, like get a place for like 100 grand.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
The guys, when they show me pictures, it's always like some high-rise condo. It's overlooking the ocean. You can see the pools. It looks like a hotel. You know, it's like a straight up hotel. It's on the water. It looks like really nice.
It's nice, but you know, to be honest, if you've never been there,
Never been.
it's, I don't know, I'm
It's
not
different.
really a Rocky Point
Yeah.
guy, because it's like too desert for me, and the town isn't that great, you know, very, very poor. very-
Yeah.
But the area where all the condos and all the nice stuff, that's a nice area, the water's good,
Yeah.
but, I don't know, I mean, to me, I think I would invest in San Carlos, which is probably about another 3 hours up, 2 hours up, right there where Rhinos is at.
Is that down the peninsula, like the Baja Peninsula? Or is it
So, you know
towards
what?
Rocky Point? I mean, towards like Cabo? Or is it?
On the other side.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, that is an area that's doing really well, better beaches, and prices are good. A lot of tourists people want to live. Oh, there's a lot of Americans going. Like a lot.
Yeah.
More than I.
There's quite a few dual citizenship. I think that's
Well, the dual citizenship is a lot easier than it was before. So
Yeah.
say, for example, if, all I have to do is go down to Morelos, provide them, the birth certificate of my mother, and my birth certificate, and that's it. You get it like in 20 minutes, where before it would take 6 months to a year. And not only that, my children are eligible to get dual citizenship, and it's their children. So they changed it where, family members now can get it down the line, where you can do it.
That's awesome.
Ready, Todd?
Alright. Good evening, everyone, and anybody who might be watching on YouTube. I would like to need a motion to return to regular session.
So moved.
There's a motion by Councilmember Lopez, there was a second. Second by Councilmember Armitage, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and just so everybody knows, we've been in our executive session, and I appreciate both of our applicants, and definitely want to thank our staff, and Chief Chavez for his service here in Superior. We were not expecting to do an interview process so quickly, and we really appreciate the work that all the members of our Superior Police Department have done. Leadership matters. What's happened in our community over the last year or last few years has been because of good leadership, and police department is something the council does take a lot of care into. So it was a tough decision for council to pick one of our two people, but we do believe that there is room for growth for both candidates, and that there will be continued opportunities to expand their careers with us. But again, thank you to our police department and all that each of you do. We've seen a remarkable difference, and that's what matters most to council. So thank you all. Thank you, Chief Chavez. We'll save the water birds. But at this time, council, you can act on the matter. So
I move for the town manager and town staff to proceed as directed in executive session and to negotiate with applicant for chief of police Joaquin Manuel the appointment, salary, and employment contract to be approved at a public meeting by town council.
do we have a second?
Second.
There's a second by Vice Mayor Alonso. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Oh, we need a motion to adjourn. Let me see what's going on here. Yep, it's a motion to adjourn now.
I make the motion we adjourn.
Motion by Councilmember Lopez, second by Vice Mayor Alonso. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?